Welcome back to another Angels and Bob's Factorio, and today we're going to be working towards, well, we're not sure we're going to get there, but we're going to be working towards electronic logic boards, which are these. Let's just go forwards, this. So we have a bunch of these components already. We've got solder and basic electronic components and transistors, all which we already manufacture. We need these two new things. We need integrated electronics and we need superior circuit boards. This is much easier than this. So let's look at the easy stuff first. Integrated electronics needs plastic, silicon, tin, copper wire. We already make all of those, and just sulfuric acid. And because we already make all of those and we crate them, I think we're going to use bots to transport them, really start to use the power of bots. Before I get onto that though, however, an update, change to biofarms, I think, change the recipe or the output. So in addition to, wood, we're also getting what appears to be sawdust. I assume that's sawdust. Let's go and just grab some. Are you sawdust? Where are you in my inventory? Wood pulp. Okay, pretty much sawdust. So I'm going to have to get that out of the system. And the first thing I'm going to do is just up here. Let's just create a chest. Oh, I didn't want to make a steel chest, but okay, steel chest. And let's just get it to look at pulp. Yeah, so that's going to get rid of it from here. And I'm just going to grab it there. Oh, that's annoying. I should have put it at the end, really. But, yeah, I don't want it polluting the line. So whenever it sees some of it, it's going to grab it. And then we'll put another one down here. And the same thing will be true. So, yeah, you just got to have to watch out for some of these things so you can see what's happening here. It's like, what is even happening? So from here, I guess what I'm going to do is just set up something to grab it after the last... Let's grab another large chest after the last biofarm can insert, and then we'll just set it to go sideways like this, and then grab this, tell it to grab wood pulp, and there it'll go. That won't solve, the rest that's already polluting the lines. However, that is going to go, up and around, hopefully, aside from this stuff, which we just got to make sure that we don't allow that to go through. Yeah, that's reasonable. Well, it should clean itself out over time, but I'm going to have to deal with... What can we actually do with wood pulp? I don't want to get too distracted, but it's worthwhile looking at. Wood pulp, can we just make it into fuel? Okay, so wood pulp cars into cellulose, cellulose into ash. Oops, did I miss one? Into charcoal, which we can process other things... We can get it back into coal, so that is essentially renewable coal. That will need coal processing 3, mind you, but we could transform it back into that. And of course, we can take coal into carbon, and then even if we want to, we've not done it in this playthrough, but in the C block we have. I think if I remember rightly. How is it? I forget the actual which Factorio series I actually created. Did we actually do it in this one? No, it wasn't the C block. That's fine, because we had limited resources. So yeah, we can transform into carbon, into solid fuel again if we want to later. So I did get a comment from someone saying, hey, yeah, you can basically make infinity power just by scaling up your biofarms and getting lots and lots of wood and transforming that back into sort of a renewable source. However, we do have a train now that's bringing us coal, and a lot of it. So let's just take a look at down here. And zoom in. I need to put the long reach mod or the equivalent in here. Lots of coal coming from our outpost. And that's going to be perfectly fine for our factory. So just something to watch out if you're updating along with me, as to watch out for this wood pulp. All right, so let's get back to the point of logic boards. Are these? Let's just take a quick look at that again. Electronic. You see, I hate it when this happens. This FNEI search is okay for some things, and then others it's like, what? I never heard what you said. No. I don't know what you mean. Electronic logic board. Electronic, even with the correct capitalization, logic, nope. I don't know why. If someone knows exactly why, that's feel free to let everyone else know in the comments below. In our case, however, we can just store it like this and this will work. So integrated electronics, we need some sulfuric acid, and then we're going to get the bot network, hopefully, to go and provide the rest to us. Now, we've got some various industrial processes up here. Do we have the sulfuric acid around anywhere reasonable? It'd be nice if we'd use this space. And that looks like sulfuric wastewater. Sulfuric wastewater. Where have I got a pipe with sulfuric acid? Let's have a look. Okay, so as it happens, the sulfuric acid is actually used here for batteries, and we've seemingly got full pipes of it. It's not actually depleting any, and it comes back over here. This is where it's manufactured, coming off our line of sulfur, of which we have a lot. Where is that going? Oh, I have no idea where that sulfur line's going. I think it's probably going over to the ore side of the base. Yes, so we're making essentially sulfuric acid here. And we've got a reasonable space that we can use this in. So let's just put a stone pipe to ground maybe here. And let's just erase you. There we go. So we can junction off this just fine. And bring it down here a little bit. And the only reason I'm bringing it all this way down with pipework is that it helps shorten the distance for the bots to have to run backwards and forwards. They're going to be running from down here, what you can see with my cursor, over to here and back again, because we're going to reuse this somewhere. So yeah, let's just actually leave it here for now. So that's where our sulfuric acid is. And we're going to need to then look at this integrated electronics. We can make it in our electronics assembly machines. And everything else we just need to feed in with a bot request, I think. Let's just put one of those down for a second. And electronics assembling. Can we make it with blue? It'd be nice if we could make it with blue. That's just steel. I would hope so, because this is the top tier of circuit boards we currently have. So let's just try one to start with. That will just get made in the background. And then in here, we have to decide where to put it. So this, let's just get it down on the ground. And can we make you? Can. Superior circuit boards. So, no, not superior circuit boards. I want integrated electronics. Hooray! Integrated electronics. Okay, so that's offset by 1. Slightly annoying. If I want to face it that way anyway, but that's perfectly fine. And then we want to offset this again slightly by 1. Where is our bot network? Do we have everything? We probably want to connect this up over here anyway, so we probably want one there. Am I just short just by 1 space? What is that? Is that just a power cable? Okay. How about if I put it right there? Okay, that will work. And then we can put a power cable back. There we go. And we'll similarly power this side up here. Get one of our boxes, and then we should be able to make a request. So, we want plastic. And we want quite a bit of it. So let's just update that to, I don't know, a couple of hundred. We're going to want tin copper wire. And let's make sure we have a couple of hundred of that. And what was the rest? Silicon wafers. Silicon. Wafers. And yeah, enough of those. Okay, so in comes the tinned copper wire quite fast, and we can just hook this into the system. Similarly, we can then tell it to, we shouldn't need a blue inserter for this, but we can provide it back to the system with a different kind of chest. Let's build one of those. Oh, I've already got some. There we go. And that will put the other side in there. It's going to need silicone wafers, it's going to need plastics, and we don't currently have those in the network, I don't think, but that's quite easy to do because we're making them. They're being buffered on belts at the moment, and we want to change that so that they're not. So they're coming all the way over from who knows where. I forget, but it doesn't actually matter because we can set up something around here as long as there's power. So yeah, here will do. And just set these up as providers. So passive providers like this. And we could put them both in the same one, but that sometimes has issues. Let me actually just restrict that to 4 stacks maybe, something like that in both cases. And then we want our filter inserters. Make a couple. There we go. So this one is going to sort of buffer plastic for us into the bot network. This one is going to buffer silicon for us into the bot network. And now we're pretty much set up because everything else, you don't need to connect anything with belts. Our bots are just going to go and do the heavy lifting. The bots can actually carry a fair amount at this point, so that's not going to be too much of an issue, I don't think. Let me just make sure, is everything connected? It's just waiting for silicon wafers now, pretty much. Which should be arriving fairly soon once the bots realize, here they come. In a long, long line. And then we should get our integrated electronics back in this box. And again, what we could do is similarly we just restrict the amount of those that we're going to actually provide. So that's the first part, and you can imagine that's much, much simpler than the huge amount of belts I would have to force through this. But of course, well, these bots will calm down once they've filled that quota, so we don't have to worry about it too much. I do actually want to make sure that everything over here is sort of covered by a bot network. At some point, I really will reorganize this, but it requires a lot more room to build. That is going to miss one if I put it there. So let me just put it there for now. And it's all right for it to overlap. There's no real issue for that until we reorganize. And they're continuing to bring in silicon, which is being brought by like mad through this belt. But that's okay. We have plenty to spare. All right, so we've got the other components. So we've got this one, this one, this one, this one. Oh dear. Yes, that's right. Copper, I can manage. Ferric chloride, I can manage. Fiberglass and gold, yeah, less so. Gold, I'll probably leave. We're going to make molten gold back through regular gold. And we're going to need chlorine and gold ore, which we can make in a sorter from rubyite chunks. And of course, that comes from crushed rubyite. So as you can see, we're actually getting a lot of rubyite here. This setup we've got up here to produce, was it lead? It was lead. It's sort of the basic setup, so we could change that across to do more than that. Instead of these 2 metals, we would get 4 out of it. So that's one way of getting it. Is there anything, any other way of getting it that we can do that? No, we can get mineral sludge and get ore that way. That might be interesting. Are we using our mineral sludge sort of array for anything else? I don't think we are. I think we turned it off. So if we turned it off, where's the mineral sludge? It's all being pulled by our ore system, I think, because you can see it's not really building up there. It's heading up and over to be made into catalysts over near the ore. So we can turn on 1 or 2 of these and see how well they actually go. So to do that, we're just going to tell it to make gold if we can. Gold and tungsten. There we go. Off it goes. And now we need to go and tell this to do something. Yeah, we're not going to need this. We're not going to need these anymore, I don't think. We're certainly not going to need to belt it from there. What I guess we could do is we could just send all of it into here, and then we can just pull it back out into boxes for the bot network to sort out and move them with the bot network. So for now, I'm just going to put them both onto this first line. So we're going to copy both settings, and we're going to say for you, we're actually just going to, in fact, it doesn't actually matter. We can just, there we go. Yep, doesn't matter. It's going to go straight into this warehouse. And then on the other side of that, we're just going to put a passive provider in. And I'm just going to load it. There we go. Oh, no, wrong thing. I'm just going to load it with only a very specific thing. I only want the gold. I'm not really too concerned about anything else just yet, so we'll tell it to load the gold, and it doesn't really much matter. We don't need to restrict this. I'm happy to get all the gold ore that we can produce. It's going to be quite a small amount to get started, but we could put it through these furnaces and reverse them or something like that. That wouldn't be hard, because we can just go to... Oh, we don't have gold in here. Do you actually need gold? Oh, we have to go through the furnace approach, the blast furnace. We can't just put them through a regular furnace. So we can let that build up while we look at the last one. Fiberglass board. Which just needs... Well, that's actually not too bad. Oh, I was misremembering then. Yeah, that was probably the one I was looking at. Glass fiber and liquid resin. No. We have plastic. And we do have lots of silicon ore. I'm not sure if we actually make glass anywhere, though. Can we just burn silicon ore? We can just burn silicon ore to make glass. Not terribly much of it, mind you, but we can do that way. And that will get us started quite quickly. So silicon ore is going to be in a warehouse somewhere around here that I've previously stored, and I can never remember where it is. One moment while I go and explore a little bit. Never mind. We are storing a huge amount of silicon ore here. Yeah. Because it's coming all the way out of our system over here that's collecting bobmonium. Okay, so we're getting a couple of things out of there. One of which is silicon ore. The other thing is tin. But what we already did is have these, and let me just check to see, is there a network down here? Sort of. Let me make sure I extend this as well. I sort of want to make sure everything is covered with orange, even if technically we may not need it at one stage. If we have it available, that will do me. So slightly in the way there. But yeah, we can just, I don't know, can we just get it fitted in here somewhere? Really, I haven't left enough room, just... Oh. Wow. Fine, we're going to put one there. And we're going to put one over here. And the two will link together just fine. If I put it there. Yeah, we need to put power in, but, you know, that's not much of an issue. Let's put some power. That'll do. And power on this side as well. And then because we have glass here, we can just essentially transform this into, I think we can just put a provider in and maybe just upgrade this chest to provider chest. There we go. That has more space in it. Similarly, we could loop this back around and put in a inserter there, which will pull, when I configure it correctly, it will pick up there and push there. And then we have this one box, which is not really doing much. Yeah, it has to be said. But we now have glass available. I assume that is glass. Yes, it is glass. So we have glass, we have gold, or at least we have the ability to get gold. We now need to just sort of finish off that thought. So fiberglass board first, plastic and glass. Where am I getting plastic from? I think it's here, isn't it? Yeah, so plastic from here, glass from down there, and then the rest of the stuff is going to be up here. So why don't we try and combine it close enough to here? And we're running out of silicon. I'll have to go and investigate where that's coming from later. Yes, I'm running out of wafers, but that's fine. We've got plenty of plastic here, so let's have a look at what we need to make that board then. We can make it in the same assembly machines, also the blue electronic assembly machines. So let's grab just one of those. And then we'll do the same thing over here. So let's put you there. And we want to make fiberglass board. Make sure we're all powered. Now we also want a requester and a provider. There we go. So our provider is going to give us the other ingredient. Requester is going to give us the other ingredients, which is the glass. So let's just ask for some glass, please. Doesn't much matter how many, but I guess let's just put a few hundred in there and make sure I actually orient these correctly. And we shouldn't have to wait too long before the bots realize, hey, we need to bring some glass. There we go. There's our bots. And away this will go. And it's going to provide us with lots of these. So let's just limit that a little bit. And we've got fiberglass. Fiberglass boards are all quite in a very compact setup here. All right, I'm pretty pleased with that so far. So what have we got left? We've got the integrated electronics. We now need to make the superior circuit board itself. So we're going to want this fiberglass board, some copper. We need to make the gold, and we need ferric chloride. And ferric chloride, because just piping liquids around is the actual thing that we got to deal with, it's usually best to just put this near where we've piped it in. So here's the ferric chloride. It has two outputs, so we can always just pull from that, or indeed from the top of this upwards, which is what I might do because we've got plenty of space up here that we can do something with. So why don't we just go and, for now, let's just send ourselves this way. There we go. And that will do for now. We're right next to a power line, which is kind of handy. These, I guess we could just borrow these temporarily-ish. That's one line, I guess. Let's just take a look at what we can do for gold plate. Whoops, wrong interface. It would be nice if I could... Does that give me... gold plate? Yeah, so if you press Control F... Okay, this is the other way of searching for things. Yeah, there's this, which is Control F to open the search bar. I sort of prefer the FNEI approach because I can sort of see backwards and forwards quite easily, but you can look at that other interface as well if you want to. So gold plate, the only option we have is going through molten gold. The only option we have is gold ingots, and the only option we have for that is chlorine gas. So we're going to need to make gold plate somewhere and probably ship it over here wherever we've got chlorine at the moment, if we've got any chlorine. If we don't, that's going to come from, well, saline water and sodium hydroxide. I would have sworn we have chlorine somewhere. Have we got it around here? I want to assume that we do. Yeah, oh, look at that. We have it right there, which will be quite handy if I can get that somewhere else. It's sort of a little bit horrid at the moment there. We're flare stacking some of this off on an overflow valve. That's good. We may want to do this, or we may have to do the same with chlorine if we have to bulk it up. But for the meantime, I can just sort of, work around this, and then we can just pipe the stuff going this way. There we go. And conveniently, it's not all that far from where we want our ferric chloride. Okay, so I'm should we set this up again? This should be in a proper location. Can we actually just set it up to do that? So blast furnace Mark II. How about we just change this to be, change the recipe to be gold? All right, and then we can just set this to just remove those for a second. Yeah, I will rework this off camera. It's going to annoy me otherwise that I don't have an... is this aluminium? Is it aluminium? Yeah, it's aluminium. That I don't have a permanent setup for this, so I will start probably making something like that. So chlorine goes in. We just need some gold ore now, which is fine. Again, lots and lots and lots of bot chests in this episode, I'm afraid, but that's just how the way it goes after a certain amount. It gets too complicated otherwise. We just run out of space to put belts. So we are going to have to go to bot networks. So that is not terribly, well, not much of a problem. It's just one of those things you got to deal with. So let's put you in here, and we're going to request the gold ore. Just grab it from there. Shouldn't much matter otherwise. And then we can go and say gold, molten gold, and here we can say gold plate. And maybe we just put a different passive provider chest there. All right, makes sense. Looks like it does. And we're getting some gold ore in already. It's going to take a little bit of time, but its first batch should head that a ways soon. There it goes. That should go through, and we should get some gold plates in this request provider chest. So let's just go back to our boards. Superior circuit boards, going to make electronic logic boards. So we need to make the superior circuit boards anyway. We're going to need fiberglass, copper, gold, and ferric chloride, and it can again be made in one of these electronics assembly machine 2s, which is fine. Did I make an extra one? I never make enough of these things. Let's just make a couple, and then we'll hook it up here. We should be able to request everything again. There we go. So let's assume we put it here, and we're going to make where is it? Superior circuit boards. Rotate that, and we can get ferric chloride in straight away. Then I think we can just do it with just 2 chests again. So request a chest, provide a chest. There we go. And now we can ask for some copper. A copper plate. You're in here somewhere. There you are. Some fiberglass. And what was the rest? Gold plate, isn't it? Yeah. To be fair, that's going to be right there. So we don't really need the bots to do this, but hey, let's go with the theme. It's bot production this episode. Gold plate. And then that's pretty much it. That should provide into this box. We may not even need this box. We could just probably put it direct insert, but let's just assume that we do for a second. And now we're going to want the boards themselves. Do we need the next tier of... Ooh, interesting. It says we can make it in here. Electronic logic board. Oh no, it's in the large one, isn't it? Yeah, so we need probably a red one to start. A red full-size assembly machine, because the small ones we're going to need more concrete. That's slightly annoying because I can't remember where concrete is. I'm almost sure the bot network doesn't have it, but just in case it does, we can just say, yeah, bring me concrete, guys. Bots, concrete. I've got it stored somewhere. I'm almost sure I have. Let's just see what it takes to actually make it. I think it's just going to be processed. Obviously, it's going to be processed stone in some way. Iron, stone, and water. So I need a factory for it. I can't handcraft water, unfortunately. Not that good. Let's go and take a look. Let me go and find it. I only need it temporarily to make a single machine, so I'm just going to rig it to run from here. Oh, I can't go there. It has to go one to the left of that, I think. Yeah, let me just tell her this to make some concrete. And we have to pipe in some water. That's okay, that'll work. And then just get some of this and some iron sticks. And it's going to make some concrete. Yep, job's done there. How many concrete do I need for that other assembly machine? 8. Okay, I'm going to cut. That takes too long. And scratch that, it makes 10 at a time. So that is, again, pretty good. And now we can make a red assembly machine, which has a fairly long chain of production just to make the yellows, and then is fairly fine thereafter. So we're going to place it here. How many of these have we got so far? 41. That's pretty good. Quite like that. That's going to go into an assembly machine. And let's go back to these boards. So boards. Right. So for that, we're just going to need to request all the things. Request all the things. Solder we don't have in a box yet, so I'll put that in a box. Basic electronic components are here, so technically we can just put a box like right here. There's no real problem there. Transistors are going to be down here somewhere. Yeah, here they are. Again, we have space for a box. So let's just put a lot of passive providers in here, shall we? We've got 3 of those. So we're going to one box there, one box maybe here, and then one box sort of here. There we go, and same thing there. Why are you backed up? Is it because I've just starved it of it? I've starved it of all the silicon. That's making it through there, but it's being boxed up by this box. So let's just tell it not to grab that. We've got enough with 2 stacks. That should make it through to here, which should get through to here, which let's just make sure it doesn't buffer too much of this up. Same thing with this. Same thing with this. And then we can check those recipes. That's everything we need. 5 ingredients, which we can now request by bots. Here's our assembly machine. So we can just put that here. And now we can request the boards. Hopefully. There we go. They look suspicious. Well, they are the vanilla icon, but they are much, much more complex to make. So there we go. And we can just immediately put this in. Connect everything up. So it'll be sort of nice. We might want to actually... if I request a chest... I'll make another one of those. And we'll put it here. Copy and paste the settings across, I assume. Yes, we can. And then remove you. Put you in here, and then we can dump this stuff. Whoops. Dump this stuff back in once I find it. Some copper. And we just want some gold plate now, which is sort of limited by our whole sludge system. So that is fine. And that means we can reuse this for the rest. So we've got enough spaces here. So solder. That's solder. If you're American, I'm sorry. Electronic components. And we just do that again for this one. And then we want our... this is already handled. What's the last bit? The transistors? Looks like transistors. And I may have... If I have actually tried to limit this in this episode, you don't need to, sorry. The limit is here. The bots won't deliver more than that, so we don't... Oh, well, they are delivering... more than that in copper because they were on the way already, I think, when I dumped this in. But other than that, they should just keep it to whatever it needs. And there, we've got our first electronic logic board, which is the next tier of thing, essentially. We can use that to make all kinds of stuff. 107 pages of stuff, in fact. Crystallizers, more importantly, exoskeletons. I can make an exoskeleton now once we get enough of these, which will let me run around faster, of course. Yep, we can also make high-tech science packs, but that's going to need some more module stuff and silicon nitride and super batteries. Well, actually, current generation batteries rather than the AA cells. And make power armor. Very, very good. So I've got lots of stuff I can use. Okay, let's keep moving past that one. I've got lots of stuff I can use to make a much better suit for myself to run around in. And as you can see, huge amounts of other stuff from that point forward. Chemical plants and all kinds of stuff. We'll explore all that next episode, but for this one, I think this has been pretty good. I'm just going to put down a passive provider chest just to finish off. There we go. And now, the system has... enough of this. Alright, if you enjoyed the episode, feel free to like, subscribe, share as normal. Thanks a lot for watching. As always, guys, we'll see you next time for some more Angels and Bob's Factorio. And yeah, I've quite liked this episode. Been quite neat. Everything's worked as I expected. Haha, exchange. See you next time.